The naked white boy angel is an artifact of the homosexual culture of Greco-Roman Europe. That's why they were naked, because they were the sex slaves of the gods. Do your research. Some of y'all feel you got to stand with every color under the sun. Where was the Latinos during the Civil Rights Movement? Where was the Mexicans during the Civil Rights Movement? Where were they? Who was getting dog sick on them? Who was going to jail? Science of the black family and the black community, where we teach our children how to go into black communities and organize people who don't want to be organized. For those of you on the front lines, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're the only organizer in the world who's working with people who could care less. So there's a science to how you get their attention. We're going to teach our boys how to respect our daughters. Teach our daughters how to respect our boys. Make sure our young men understand that the black woman was the first symbol ever used for God on earth. Before we ever called God a he, she was a she for 2 million years. We want them to understand why the woman has a 28-day cycle that corresponds to the 28-day cycle of the moon. Why the black woman is considered the mother of all water, which relates to the fact that she carries a baby in water for 9 months. They have to understand the divinity of one another. And the last science will be the science of African spirituality and cosmology. That means we want to teach ancestral veneration. We want to teach them African spirituality before Abraham, before Moses, and before Jesus. I know most of us don't understand anything outside of the Abrahamic pathway, but there are other interpretations of reality. We want to make sure our children understand what those are. We want them to know that our angels, in our tradition, in our culture, our angels are our ancestors, not naked white boys with their wee-wees out coming to save anybody. No boy with wings on his back is looking out for anybody here. The naked white boy angel is an artifact of the homosexual culture of Greco-Roman Europe. That's why they were naked, because they were the sex slaves of the gods. Do your research. All that comes from homosexuality, which we'll talk about later. Some of y'all conflicted on that, because people have played with your identity. And they made you feel that since black people had a civil rights, you gotta support everybody else's civil right. Stop letting people confuse you on the issue of being an African versus the behavior of homosexuality. A being is a being. You cannot change it. It is your state of existence. Don't confuse being with behavior. We did not fight for the right to do something. We fought for the right to be something. Don't confuse the two. Black people running around supporting every color under the sun but they own. We are for the Latino struggle. We are for the gay struggle. We are for the white female struggle. We are for the illegal immigrant struggle. Who's for the black struggle? Even our national organizations, most of them have rewritten their charters. The National Black Caucus says now we are no longer just for black people. We're for everybody. The NAACP, we're for everybody. The Urban League, we're for everybody. Half your fraternities and sororities, that's right. Black bourgeoisie, we're for everybody. How you going to be for everybody and still be for yourself? You're the only people who want to love everybody else except yourself. Black people are totally separatists when it comes to each other and totally integrationists when it comes to another group. You do know what independent mean. We don't take money from other races. You do know what black mean. We're not multi-to-hell cultural either. It's an all black thing. Some of y'all feel you got to stand with every color under the sun. Where was the Latinos during the Civil Rights Movement? Where was the Mexicans during the Civil Rights Movement? Where were they? Who was getting dog sick on them? Who was going to jail? Where was the Asians and the Orientals? Where was the Arabs at? There was nowhere to be found. Where was the East Indian? But the minute that civil rights bill got passed, every color under the sun claimed a piece of something that our ancestors fought for, and we're still under the trap and under the brainwash of multicultural struggle. Nobody else is multicultural. Latinos fighting for Latinos. Arabs is fighting for Arabs. East Indians fighting for East Indians. Anglo-Saxons fighting for Anglo-Saxons. The only multicultural crew is you. And you better change it. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said we must practice race first. You must be African family first. You must think for the group before you think of your own selfish clique interests. That means you're an African before you're a Kappa. You're an African before you're a Delta. You're an African before you Muslim. You're African before you Hebrew. You're African before you Christian. You're African before you Mason. Be African first. I'm not praying to God in the white man's image, and I'm not studying God in the Arab's language. I'm going to be unapologetically African today. I'm going to be unapologetically African tomorrow, and I'm going to be unapologetically African until the day that I die. What is my religion? You want to know what my religion is?